The readings will now be given by Craig from New Jersey.
The Bible, Matthew. And Jesus, seeing the multitudes, went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Ye have heard that it had been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor, and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? If ye salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Acts. And God wrought special miracles by the hands of Paul, so that from his body were brought unto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the diseases departed from them, and the evil spirits went out of them. And upon the first day of the week, and when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. And there were many lights in the upper chamber where they were gathered together. And there sat in a window a certain young man named Eutychus, being fallen into a deep sleep, and as Paul was long preaching, he sunk down with sleep and fell down from the third loft, and was taken up dead. And Paul went down and fell on him, and embracing him said, Trouble not yourselves, for his life is in him. When he therefore was come up again, and had broken bread, and eaten, and talked a long while, even till the break of day, so he departed. And they brought the young man alive, and were not a little comforted. 1 Corinthians. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass, or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. The following is from Miscellaneous Writings by Mary Baker Eddy, from the article, Thy Will Be Done. This is the law of truth to error. Thou shalt surely die. This law is a divine energy. Mortals cannot prevent the fulfillment of this law. It covers all sin and its effects. God is all, and by virtue of this nature and allness, he is cognizant only of good. Like the legislative bill that governs millions of mortals whom the legislators know not, the universal law of God has no knowledge of evil and enters unconsciously the human heart and governs it. Charity has the courage of conviction. It may suffer long, but has neither the cowardice nor the foolhardiness to cover iniquity. Charity is love, and love opens the eyes of the blind, rebukes error, and casts it out. Charity never flees before error, lest it should suffer from an encounter. Love your enemies, or you will not lose them. And if you love them, you will help to reform them. Christ points the way of salvation. His mode is not cowardly, uncharitable, nor unwise, but it teaches mortals to handle serpents and cast out evil. Our own vision must be clear to open the eyes of others, else the blind will lead the blind, and both shall fall. The sickly charity that supplies criminals with bouquets has been dealt with summarily by the good judgment of the people in the old Bay State. Inhuman medical bills, class legislation, and Salem witchcraft are not indigenous to her son. Out of the depths have I delivered thee. Quote, the drowning man just rescued from the merciless wave is unconscious of suffering. Why then do you break his peace and cause him to suffer in coming to life? Because you wish to save him from death. Then, if a criminal is at peace, is he not to be pitied and brought back to life? Or are you afraid to do this lest he suffer, trample on your pearls of thought, and turn on you and rend you? Cowardice is selfishness. When one protects himself at the neighbor's cost, let him remember, whosoever will save his life shall lose it. He risks nothing who obeys the law of God, and shall find the life that cannot be lost. Loyal Christian Scientists, be of good cheer. The night is far spent, the day dawns. God's universal kingdom will appear. Love will reign in every heart, and his will be done on earth as in heaven. From Science and Health, with Key to Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. Students are advised by the author to be charitable and kind, not only towards differing forms of religion and medicine, But to those who hold these differing opinions, let us be faithful in pointing the way through Christ as we understand it. But let us also be careful always to judge righteous judgment and never to condemn rashly. Whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. End quote. That is, fear not that he will smite thee again for thy forbearance. If ecclesiastical sects or medical schools turn a deaf ear to the teachings of Christian Science, then part from these opponents, as did Abraham when he parted from Lot, and say in thy heart, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, between my herdman and thy herdman, for we be brethren. Immortals or God's children in divine science are one harmonious family. But mortals, or the children of men in material sense, are discordant and oft-time false brethren. The pride of priesthood is the prince of this world. It has nothing in Christ. Meekness and charity have divine authority. From the glossary, love anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Also from the glossary, oil is consecration, charity, gentleness, prayer, heavenly inspiration. And also from the glossary, salvation is life, truth, and love understood and demonstrated as supreme over all, sin, sickness, and death destroyed. Love for God and man is the true incentive in both healing and teaching. Love inspires, illumines, designates, and leads the way. Right motives give pinions to thought and strength and freedom to speech and action. Love is the priestess at the altar of truth. Wait patiently for divine love to move upon the waters of mortal mind and form the perfect concept. Patience must have her perfect work.